So now that the decision in place, what can be legislatively done?
Well, that's the question. Schumer and Van Hollen, I know, have a bill in that mostly goes to the issue of disclosure. I mean, there's not a lot. I don't think there are a lot of options left. And I don't even, whatever they do, the Supreme Court's likely to throw them out anyway. I mean, this court is no friend of campaign regulation. They did say that disclosure regulations are okay. People can have a right to know who's paying for this stuff. Maybe you can get some legislation through that'll do that. But in this Congress, who knows? First of all, you need 60 votes to get anything through the Senate. Senate can do nothing without 60 votes these days. Very little. So if you could get something passed. Yeah.
Historically, there's been a lot of talk about the collegiality of the Supreme Court. And I think at this point, these are human beings. They're individuals. And it must be a terrible trauma for them. How do they deal with each other anymore?
I don't know.
What's the level of anger there?
Yeah. Stevens certainly seemed to be very, very angry. And there have been a lot of angry dissents in the last 2 years. Ginsburg wrote a very angry dissent last year. I forget which case it was now. So there is a lot of anger. I mean, I don't know. You keep saying, well, you see stories, well, Scalia and Ginsburg are friends. They go to the opera together.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true or not. But it seems to me that they're really at each other's throats. I don't know how they live with each other.
In the past, they would have, like you said, justices would evolve in their thinking, right? But can you see Alito, Thomas, Roberts ever changing their stripes to any degree?
I don't see it. I mean, Kennedy's the only one who occasionally shows some independence, and it depends on the issue. Sometimes he separates himself from the other four conservatives. He's not quite the partisan ideologue, I think, that the other four are. He's got conservative instincts, but I think the others are very partisan. The others have, I think, a partisan agenda.
Is there actually a law that forbids the enlarging the Supreme Court, which I think FDR tried to do?
Forget it. That's not going to happen.
Because you can't get it through, right?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's politically possible, right?
Look, I don't even know that Obama can get halfway decent justices appointed. They'll filibuster. I mean, he's, some of his, I think Sotomayor was fine, and I'm glad he got her through. But can he appoint a Harold Koh to the U.S. Supreme Court? I don't think Harold Koh would be a wonderful justice. I mean, even the so-called liberals on this court, they're not Brennan and Marshall. They're really four moderates. Stevens, who was actually appointed by Jerry Ford, is probably the most liberal member of this court. Breyer, appointed by, he's a technocrat. He's no progressive. Ruth Ginsburg, who I love, good friend. She's not a Brennan or a Marshall. She's a moderate, sensitive, justice. And Sotomayor, I think, was a good choice, and I think she's fine. Yeah.
When the President said in his speech that the court decision had turned back the clock 100 years, century or some phrase like that,
Yeah.
The camera showed Alito.
You mean Obama said that?
Obama
Obama
said
in the State of the Union message.
And when then Alito appeared to be saying something like, or he was interpreted as having said, "Not true."
Right.
I assume he didn't say a lie,
Right.
like another dignified individual. But it seemed like he was disputing the statement, even though your quote of TR and the subsequent law seemed to support Obama's position. What could Alito be legally correct in saying that it was not true what Obama said?
Well,
Is there
first of all,
some nuance of it?
Obama didn't quite say what Alito claims he said. It had to do with whether or not, I mean, right now, foreign nationals cannot contribute to U.S. political campaigns.
Individuals. individuals.
Individuals, right. And the problem with Citizens United, a majority opinion, it takes a very firm stand that the First Amendment protects speakers. Congress may not abridge the freedom of speech. Now, if that's an absolute, you can't abridge the freedom of speech of corporations. You can't abridge the freedom of speech of foreign governments or foreign nationals. Will the Supreme Court go that far? That was the question Obama raised in his State of the Union. He says it opens up the possibility that now even foreign nationals are going to be able to influence U.S. elections. And that's where Alito apparently said, not true. But we don't know if it's true or not. We won't know till that case comes to the court.
Don't we have foreign nationals as heads of some American corporations?
That what?
Aren't there some foreign nationals who are heads of some American corporations?
Well, that's right. In fact, that's one of the bills before Congress now, to forbid corporations that are foreign controlled from making, can they do that? I don't know. I think the court's going to knock it down. We're going to try, but I think the court's going to knock that legislation down.
Perhaps there are no principles.
Yeah.
Where would this legislation go? The Congress, the fact is, we've got clowns and cowards in both houses. That's clear. And if some people are willing to, there are a handful of people in Congress who are honest and want to do what's right. How do they get these bills passed? It really sounds despairing.
Sounds tough. I don't know if they're going to be able to. One, they got to get it through both houses of Congress, and then they got to get it past the Supreme Court.
Right.
It's a very tough road ahead there. Yeah, in the back.
I'm thinking that probably our best.
I'm sorry. You better speak up. I forgot to put my hearing aids in.
I can't. I'm thinking probably
Yeah,
our best path
I
was
need
for
some
either a few
change.
of our
I need
Supreme Justices to
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing.
retire.
Why don't you come on up?
Okay.
Stand up.
I think that maybe our best chance is for a few of our Supreme Justices to either drop dead or retire and hope that somebody better gets on by what you're saying.
I need 8.
Unfortunately, the older justices are Stevens. He's going to probably retire this year. Obama's going to have a hard time getting anybody halfway decent past the Senate. Ruth Ginsburg has been ill. We don't know how much longer she's going to be able to stay on the court.
Count those again.
They're the two most likely to go.
So we're screwed.
So,
Thanks.
I've got a question. Just, philosophically, the conservative drugs, that's a philosophical. The conservative judges, more like, I guess, strict constructionists, are supposed to believe that the Constitution never changed, whatever. Is there anything early on, with the Founding Fathers' time, that made an argument about deregulation that they're buying into now as an argument, or what is their argument per se that they're
their argument in the political campaign cases where the Constitution says Congress shall make no laws abridging freedom of speech. And the question is, I don't think corporations are part of we the people of the United States. It wasn't corporations who founded this government that wrote the Constitution. It was we the people. And it's we the people who have inalienable rights. I don't think corporations have inalienable rights. And the early, cases all said that. They're just creatures of the legislature, corporations. They have the rights the legislature gives them. But now, somehow or other, they've been transformed into having the same rights as human beings. So I think it's, bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I think the one thing maybe that's not being brought up is we have the Congress and the Senate, which is dominated by 2 parties, and most of these districts, there's only one candidate, which makes it really easy for these corporations. All they have to do is focus on one person.
Right.
Do you think that maybe a way to combat this is to expand the debates and expand how many parties can run? We're looking at a room full of brains and socialists here, so maybe it's skewed, but I see it's probably a lot harder to buy off 6 candidates which actually have access to the media than right now in the districts around here, at least in this district, you don't even have a serious opposition. You only have to buy